Welcome to Untamed Blossoms, the podcast where we celebrate the untamed journey of womanhood. Here, we tell the stories of incredible women who have embraced their authenticity, inspiring others to do the same.
From entrepreneurs to artists, activists to adventurers, we share triumphs, challenges, and the beauty of self-discovery. These are the stories of women blazing their own trails, breaking free, and blooming unapologetically.
Join us to connect, be inspired, and celebrate the power of women's stories. Together, let's rewrite the rules and embrace our wildness.
Welcome to Untamed Blossoms. I'm your host, Amanda Riley.
And I'm Christy Riley. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Thank you.
Your hair looks great today.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
You look pretty. You look pretty. I saved that until we a genuine reaction when somebody, as a Leo, when somebody
I eat it up. Tell me more,
You're like,
but it's funny because I, got a shower, took a blow dryer to the hair, and I have a minute where I decide, okay, we're doing straight, or we're doing crimpy, or are we doing some big waves?
Yeah.
I said big curl waves today.
I like it. Looks pretty.
Thank you.
Looks soft.
Yeah.
It looks soft and I don't know, just gentle.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, this is why women are the best, because not a single man has said this to me.
All today.
Well,
I don't know. I think if you showed up at the gym, you'd had some of our old folk friends telling you how great you look today.
it's so funny because sometimes I will take a selfie in the mirror. Like as I wake up, I sent it to you guys before.
Right.
My hair is insane is the easiest way to put that.
Same,
And
we're in the same vein there.
It is, the trolls from the 90s.
Uh-huh.
That is me in the morning.
Yeah.
Belly out, hair out. And then I get ready for work. I'm like, I'm a totally different person. You've never known I was a troll no less than 3 minutes ago.
I can Medusa. My hair is very Medusa-like in the morning, and especially if I went to bed with it wet. Oh boy.
Yeah, totally.
My husband's a lucky man in those mornings to wake up to that. He's like, whoa, your hair is going crazy today.
Well,
Well, speaking of the gym, our guest today,
I'm so excited.
of course, you guys know Amanda Riley has quite the following everywhere she goes. She's a collector of humans and a gatherer of humans, period, wherever she goes and whatever she does.
You like people.
You do. And they flock to you, some would say. And
Sometimes.
so, of course, we have a group of people that we work out with on a regular basis, and that fluctuates between mostly the two of them. Amanda and Carrie go every single day. I was a 5-dayer for the first time last week.
You had your milestone.
I had my milestone. And then, then the rest of us fluctuate in as we can, somewhere between 1 to 5 times a week, depending on it. And so, of course, we have friends at the gym of all makes and models, women, men, older men, some more pleasant than others.
Yeah.
And it's cool that we show up and everybody, we're always there at the same time.
There's that
every
meme.
day.
There's that meme. It's like, it's so weird to have a room full of friends that don't even know your name. You know what I mean? It's like, and you walk into the gym and you're like, I know these people.
Right.
These are my people.
Yes.
But you don't really know them.
Right.
But you're like, these are, and then if random people are there, you're like, who the fuck are these people?
And who
These are not my gym people. And suddenly you're like, "Wow, this isn't a club that I created. This is a public space."
We went on a Saturday, and I was like,
whole different crowd.
Who's all these people?
Yeah,
these are definitely not our people.
I didn't know that all you have memberships here. Make yourself known. What is your name? What is your schedule?
Why aren't you coming during the week? Yeah. So, of course, nobody who listens to us regularly is surprised by any of this, but this particular guest today, this lady, immediately caught all of our attention.
Yes.
When we started. And she is a presence every single day, without fail.
Yeah.
Unless she's on vacation, but she is there all the time. And she's just a baddie.
Yeah.
She's just a baddie.
She's always lifting heavy weights.
Yeah.
we'll let her tell her story and when she got into this, but it was definitely later in life, into bodybuilding.
Yes.
But she is just so incredible and inspiring and just shredded, man. She's shredded.
I mean, shredded. You were like walking by and you're like, damn.
Shredded.
Aging goals for sure.
I'm 5'1".
Yeah. And she's smaller.
She's smaller than me.
Yeah.
So she's not only mighty, but tiny.
That's right.
And I do vibe with that.
And then, sometimes in the gym, and I'm going to speak for myself, a woman in the gym like that, I feel like is intimidating to approach, especially if you're new to going to the gym, right? She's toned, she's fit, she's ripped, and you're like, wow, she lives here.
Yeah.
She's serious.
She can move in. Yeah.
And you're not sure what response you're going to get. Okay. And then you show up one day and this sweet angel of a tiny little human is having a whole inspiring conversation in the locker room, in the women's locker room, encouraging, inspiring people in the other women in the locker room and talking them up. And I know that I've heard her where you don't interrupt, you just hear it when you're putting your stuff together. I know you've heard her do the same thing. And so we've all come out of the gym at some point going, wow, whether we say it or not, that she's just been an inspiration, that here she is, and she's a baddie and she looks great. And she doesn't have to talk or inspire anyone else, but here she is.
Well, and immediately, because I also am there so much, she could have just introduced herself one day and was just like, yeah, killing it. I'm like, yes. Yeah. Weird because you're killing it, and then I found out she's a realtor too. And like, it's just like your people are all around you, as Mel would say.
Yeah. And she made herself accessible to us, and she's just kind and smiling and
can't wait to
stays in her lane, but can't wait to hear her story. And now I feel like she's doing something.
Yeah, she has her own. Yeah, she has her own fitness business too. So I'm just excited to hear her journey through bodybuilding.
Yes.
It's not often we get to talk to a woman in that arena for sure.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Well, hello, Cathy. Welcome to the pod. How are you?
Cathy.
I'm great, ladies. How are you today?
We're awesome.
We got our workout in as we do. So
always the way to start the day.
Have you always been a morning workouter, or has it ever fluctuated for you?
Yeah, no, it actually, I have always, not always, I would say there was probably a period of time when I was like very gainfully employed, like where I had, a like 9 to 5 type of responsibility, where it was usually after work, but that really was short-lived. I prefer working out first thing in the morning. I was raised in a house where when I was probably in 6th or 7th grade, my dad used to come I shared a bedroom with my sister in Pittsburgh, and I had a younger brother and an older sister, but the sister who was closest in age, we shared a bedroom. My dad would get us up at like 6 to go out and run. He was kind of a runner.
Oh my God.
He was, he discovered it actually a little later in life. He wasn't like, a cross country or in high school or whatever. He just decided at a certain point in his life that it was time to start paying attention and taking care of yourself. And so he kind of expounded that upon us as kids. He literally would like pull us out of bed, and my sister Betsy and I would go out and we'd run and we'd bitch the whole time. I mean, we would just, it was a pain in the ass, right, basically. But it really set, it set the bar to where now I realize that it does set your day up. When I am in the gym working, and you guys could probably attest to it, I'm focused. I don't talk with people. I hardly ever make eye contact. People think I'm totally unapproachable, which I'm not, but I know that that's an aura that I give off because I'm there to work and I'm there to get it done and then to get on with the rest of my day. And I do my best thinking in the gym, used to be in the shower.
Mhm.
It's now in the gym. I process the day, I process the week. And I actually just did my own little blog, which I do, about how um, it is so important to have goals and to have consistency, because otherwise, that's why people fall off the wagon in one way or another. Food, alcohol, working out, just take general needs to take care of oneself. So I find that if I do it first, the rest of the day is
Yeah.
flawless, and it's not on my head that I have to go to the gym yet. I still haven't gone to the gym, so works
And I
for me.
think it sounds a lot like, this is one thing that I try to always tell myself and then anyone who wants to work out with me. I'm like, if you give yourself like, okay, I need to work out so I can look good in a bikini on vacation or so I can go to this wedding and look great in this dress. It's like that kind of mindset of having an end date is just a recipe for disaster versus just saying, I am a person who wakes up early and works out because it's good for my body, it's good for my health. You can have those other goals layered in there, but the basis behavior is I am a person who works out. So can you talk to us a little bit about that?
When you put so much focus and time, and I don't mean time in terms of minutes, okay? Because you guys are like me. I go to the gym. My lifting is done in 45 to 50 minutes. I'm done.
Yep.
I'm absolutely done. And if I want to do a little cardio after, I will. But I'm pretty much from start to finish 1 hour at the gym. And it sustains me. And I'll refer back to growing up because I had parents who, especially my dad, who was quite the had quite the influence on my life. And he always had a saying that was, you have to have things in life to look forward to. That's what life is about. If you have nothing to look forward to, why are we living? What are we doing?
Mm,
And
yeah.
in that, those steps about, yeah, it is a great thing to take care of yourself and then perhaps do a transformation that is so incredible that people who haven't seen you in 10 years are like, what are you doing? Or how did that happen? Type of thing. That's great. That's fine. But see, all of that happens by itself. It's not
Hmm.
forced. And it's not, it's not, I have my 50th high school reunion coming up in the fall, which is just like mind
Nice.
blowing to me, right? And I know that there are women out there, I post all the time. I post pictures that are, kind of gross to some people, but it's kind of what feeds me because in the world of quote bodybuilding, you feed off of each other's successes and you thrive on um just like people responding to how you look. That's important. It's healthy. There's nothing unhealthy about it. So when I see responses to going to a reunion where people haven't seen each other since maybe they were at the 40th and they may not have even been at the 40th. It's like, oh no, I can't do it. I can't go there. I can't do it. It doesn't even dawn on me. This has been my world forever. And so people say, when did you start? I don't ever remember not doing this. The intensity changed over the years, but it's all the same. It's all the same. It's all the priorities, all the consistency.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about some of that ebb and flow throughout your life of when it was more prioritized versus others and how you got back in to changing
Yeah.
that up and changing your intensity?
Yes, absolutely. So we were, my husband and I were both members of Lifetime Fitness forever. I think we were like their charter members when they first opened at Easton, and we it was, an everyday kind of a thing at 5:15, and we've always been self-employed. We'd do our thing, and then we'd go home and eat dinner at 8 o'clock. I don't know, late. Now I'm in bed by 8:30. But it was about that's what worked for us at the time. And I just pretty much I decided it was COVID. I think that when we stopped our membership there because couldn't use the gym there, and was working out at home. Have a little home set up here, which is adequate. It's not great. It's adequate if I have, I need a snow day or don't have time, but I hardly ever use it anymore. But through that and being an independent sales rep, I had great flexibility with hours. But that was how it pretty much it fell into place, just going after work, so to speak. And then 12, 13 years ago, I um, got my real estate license, and that allows so much freedom of time as well. And therefore now I know in my best world to work out first thing in the morning, even on vacation. I want to go to the gym first thing in the morning, and then I can enjoy the rest of the day.
At what stage, Cathy, did you decide it went from working out to true bodybuilding? Like, I want to compete.
Yeah. It was always in the back of my mind. I I recall trainers at Lifetime back in the day, and they're still trainers in Columbus today, maybe not at Lifetime, but they're trainers, and they used to always say, oh, you should do it, you should, you have the symmetry and you have the mindset, and it's time, and what kept stopping me was having to put that, well, they call it a bikini, I don't know what I call it, it's a G-string basically, and those 5-inch plastic heels
Heels.
on.
Uh-huh.
And, when you have a size 5 foot, your foot is like this on those shoes. I mean, it's more painful for me than I think it is for somebody who wears an 8.
Oh.
So
Yeah, for sure.
I just I couldn't, and then parading across the stage in front of total strangers, other than a handful of people who might show up. I couldn't get past that mindset until I had actually a friend of mine who had done a bodybuilding competition when he was in his 30s, and he had mentioned it to me. And I just, he said to me, you can do it. You think you're too not insecure, but I was just shy. He said,
Yeah.
it totally changes your mindset. So I thought, okay, I'm not going to really tell anybody right now. And I just started training with a trainer. She knew I was going to do it, but I didn't really want to kind of put it out there in the open air in case I failed. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
Cathy had a great
Yeah.
idea. Well, she sucked, we're like, whatever. And so I trained, and I trained much harder than I was doing in the gym. I would do in the gym, I'd do the same exercises over and over and over, not realizing unless you increase your weight, you are not going to see change. And if you keep doing the same thing, your muscles know what they're doing. So you don't even, it could be in your sleep. So all of those things, in addition to, of course, the diet, which I hate the word diet because it's another mindset. It's another layer of bodybuilding that you can't have one without the other. You just can't. It doesn't work. It'll never work. There are some outliers out there. There are some, especially there was I think it might have been Ronnie Coleman back in the day, who used to like go out the night before, tie one on, and like I mean, if he was like, yeah, and he'd go in and he'd win an overall Olympia. I mean, he was one of those very unique individuals. Well, most people cannot do that, and I cannot do that. And so a lot of things came to be because of the training. It took me 2 competitions to realize I can't drink alcohol anymore. I used to sneak it in, like, not a lot. I was never a big drinker. Let me just start by saying never, ever. If I had 2 drinks, I was totally wasted. So I really was never a big drinker. But it came to the point where my trainer said to me, you can't, you just can't, because you don't realize it, but it totally impacts any of your gains, and it just screws with your metabolism. And with each little drink that you have, it's going to set you back several days in the gym till
Yeah.
that gets flushed out. And it's true. It's true. I can tell if I've had like even like a little few sips the night before, and I can feel the puffiness. I swear I can. I can see it with my eyes. So I just
Yeah.
abstain.
Well, yeah, what's interesting is right when I got sober, a big part of it was 'cause I wanted to look better. Like it was a lot of vanity, really, truly. And when I started doing the research and reading books and listening to the effects of alcohol, it's like, man, I don't think people realize that alcohol stays in your system for 3 days, 3 whole days.
It does.
And your liver is prioritizing getting that poison out of your body before it's worrying about anything else. So you can't build muscle. You
Right.
can't do the
Nope.
things that you want to do in the gym when your body is prioritizing that
It has a
function.
huge inflammatory process.
Yeah.
Alcohol does. So the puffiness makes sense, right? Is your body is inflamed because it's trying to get it all out of your system. So
Right.
yeah, that totally makes sense. And your face changed completely
Mhm.
after you went sober. Like your
Yeah.
inflammation went down a huge before she ever lost really any weight.
Yeah.
Just the transformation of just stopping drinking alone was huge.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. And the desire never leaves. I'm sure, Amanda, you know that. It's certainly lessened, and it lessens with each passing week and month and year, but it's an addiction. It's an addiction.
For sure.
I was a smoker when I was
Mm.
16 years old. And honestly, if I'm thinking back now, I really probably totally missed this whole opportunity to tell you this, because it was quitting smoking that catapulted me into being crazy in the gym. Not so much
How
bodybuilding,
so?
but
Yeah, tell
well,
us more about that.
I my biggest fear about quitting smoking was gaining weight. Okay,
Mm.
I think I probably suffer suffer a little bit from an anorexic kind of perspective. I know I have dysmorphia. I know I do. I don't see
Yeah.
what other people see. I never have. I probably never will. But I get it and I understand it. And when I was struggling to quit smoking because I kept putting it off every year, every year, every year, and I said, okay, when I get to be 40, that's it, no more cigarettes. And I think I was like 39 actually. And I, again, didn't tell anybody that I quit because I was afraid I'd fail. I really was. I was afraid I'd fail. And so Mark was the only one that knew. My husband, he was the only one that knew that I had quit, and I quit, and then I became addicted to the gum. The Nicorette gum. I was chewing it like people put like double bubble in their mouth, and eventually I had to get rid of that. But see, the at least the gum still had the nicotine in it, but it didn't have the tar in it.
Yeah.
And eventually I had to get rid of the nicotine because it's really bad too. It's a terrible thing for you. And that's what, and so I became a little nuts in the gym, and I changed my whole habit at that time. And one of my very first blogs about this was at that time when I was younger, my diet was hot dogs, coffee, and cigarettes, and once in a while an Oreo or two. And
Oh
that was
my.
my diet was so bad. It was horrendous. And so that
And
also,
you were 17, 16, 17. Is
yeah,
that how old you were at this point? Yep.
yeah, yeah. And then I went to
Yeah.
college, and I was like kind of hypoglycemic because of my diet. My dog was like constantly tired all the time. I was putting on a lot of weight. And I was lucky at the time to when I used to come back home on break, I was a babysitter for a neighbor who his kid had little kids, and he was an endocrinologist, and he said to me, I wouldn't be surprised if you had a little hypoglycemia. And he said, at your age, it can be totally reversed. He said, if it's not taken care of, it can go into diabetes. But he
Mm.
said, he said, I can tell already by what you're telling me you're eating and what you're doing. He said, that's what it is. And so you just learn. But what it did was it pushed me off the deep edge to really start being super, super careful, and um, diligent about what went into my mouth and what didn't. And then eventually, I tell people this all the time. When I was trained for the first competition, and I put on the suit and I put on the shoes, and I got back. I was backstage with 22 other really good-looking young girls.
How old were you at this point? Divulge your age for your first
I was
competition.
65 years old.
65. Wow.
65,
That is so awesome.
So
yeah. And
badass.
so they had like over 50 age divisions, right? Over
Right.
50, sometimes over 60, which of course I gravitated to immediately, but I did the over 52 just because. And was I nervous? Not for 1 second. It was so weird.
Good.
It was like something came over me and it was like, okay, let's do this. I mean, I became like, it was like a different element for me. Maybe in a past life, something else happened in my world. I
What's
don't
your
know.
astrological sign?
What
What's your
is it?
astrological
It's
sign?
Aries.
Cool. You got that fire in
That
you.
fire, girl.
I guess that's what it is. Yeah. So, yeah. And so ever since, I mean, it's like I'm in my own world. I love the world of the stage. And I was a dancer when I was younger. When I say a dancer, it wasn't really I mean, I can tell you that the people at Juilliard said, "Oh, you're adorable, but if you want to be a sugar plum fairy the rest of your life, sure." I was too
Oh,
small. I was way too
Too little.
small, and that's the true story.
Yeah.
And so, but I kind of found my world, and I'll do my fifth one May, which is just
Wow.
crazy.
we just would love to hear like about the competing. So can you talk to us about competing prep? Like, what is that like, and has it changed? I'm sure your first prep was very, very different from your current one that you're in right now. So talk to us a little bit about the process.
Yeah. So first prep, I had no guidance at all, and I really should have used my trainer for that, but I just didn't. It didn't even dawn on me. I was paying her to work me out. But I wasn't, and I could have. She's a delightful gal and she's extremely knowledgeable, but I didn't use her for that. So I just it was like trial and error. I didn't even know. I got called out I'm on all these fitness bodybuilding sites, over 50, fit girls, whatever. And I learned myself how to track my what they call macros. In the world of bodybuilding, it's macros. And it's just a daily journal of every piece of food that goes in your mouth, every piece. um I just had like a little corner of a piece of chocolate. It's got to go up there, whatever. You're totally accountable to yourself. And so I'm tracking my calories for about a month or so. And let's see, I started working out with my trainer in January, and I was scheduled to compete May. So, and I had no idea how long is it going to take me to get there. I don't know. I just figured 3 to 4 months was enough. And after I tracked for a few weeks, and I'll tell you like basically what my tracking looks like, but I seem to have uh, I was not tracking properly, let's put it that way. And so I went on one of these bodybuilding sites, and I put up there, I'm just eating about like 1,000 to 1,100 calories a day. But I'm just not seeing, and I mean, I went into a little bit of detail, and I am telling you, I must have had 22 people say to me, "Don't you have a coach? Why aren't you tracking your macros? What are you doing? You're wasting your time. You're this." It was the most negative stuff you ever wanted to hear.
Oh,
And
Ooh.
somebody was like, 1,000 calories. What are you, crazy? I said, "You don't understand. I'm 4'8" and I'm 93 pounds. Okay.
right.
I'm not a normal sized person. So my calorie intake is going to be dramatically different than from somebody who's 5'6" and weighs
Right.
150 pounds, And so I then learned that what cutting is. and bulking is. And a lot of girls, they put on, to make it simple, they put on, quote, good weight, okay, in uh, so that they then can take off the weight and they lean out. And they call that cutting. I've never cut, I've never bulked, I've never cut in my entire life. I don't do it now. I will never do it. I have a personal opinion about it, and I think at my age it's dangerous. I think it's hard on the heart to just put weight on and then take it off. That's not my lifestyle. My lifestyle is always staying 2 to 3 to 4 pounds from my weight, from my stage weight. And even then, even now, I hardly ever weigh myself anymore, because it's a number and it plays horrible games with your head. And I'm a numbers person, and I'm a very reactive type of person. I guess that's part of Aries too. And I, the best of the best will tell you that you know how your clothes fit. You know what you see in the mirror. The mirrors that you use every day, you know what you see. And that's what it's about. It's not about the scale. And so, even though I'm tempted all the time when I feel like I'm really like having a good lean morning, like one of those, I feel great today, I get on the scale and, I can pretty much tell where I am, but I don't have to like knock myself down if I'm not quite there. My prepping, you asked me about prepping. You want to know how I prep and how it's changed. When I first started, I had no clue. But I've now learned, after 3 years of doing this, the easiest way to prep for bodybuilding is to eat the same damn thing every single day of your life. You think I'm kidding you? At every meal. At every meal. I mean, I'm not kidding you, because then there's no, now those nights where, like Saturday night, we went down to Giuseppe's for Italian food. Yeah, great.
Right.
You make those accommodations. You talk with, we always sit at the bar. You talk with the bartender. You say, "Look, I'm a bodybuilder. Please tell the kitchen no oil. I won't send it back. Trust me. I don't want any. I really don't want oil if they don't have to use it." Type of thing. You just learn to be a little assertive. But I literally, for breakfast, I'd say every day is 3/4 of a cup of egg whites, one slice of Ezekiel bread, which I highly recommend for anybody because it's a low glycemic, it doesn't spike your insulin, and it's filling. One slice of that, a teaspoon of like margarine or butter or whatever, a usually a half a grapefruit, which in the beginning I was not allowed to eat fruit. My trainer didn't believe in it, but my new coach does. He's certain fruits, so he's all on board with grapefruit. It's fine. And then usually I'm still hungry, okay, which is crazy. I'm still hungry, so I'll maybe eat another 1 to 2 ounces of chicken, grilled chicken, which I always have in the fridge, always. So that's that. And then 3 hours later, I'll have more chicken, and it's for me, it's 4 ounce servings. So I weigh everything. I didn't do that the first 2 times around. I didn't think I really needed to. It's like, okay, we all know a handful looks like 4 ounces. It really, you can't do it that way. It doesn't work. So I
Depends on
weigh
how
everything.
hungry I am, whether that looks like 4 ounces or not. You know what I'm saying?
That seems
Exactly.
light.
Yeah. So, 4 ounces of chicken and always a sweet potato. I usually eat two a day because they are incredibly satisfying. They're sweet and they make you feel full, and yet they're like a superfood. They are such a good food. And then I try to get a vegetable in. For fiber more than anything because I'm always fiber deficient. That's my biggest
Yeah.
hurdle that I have to do. And then at like 3 o'clock, it's time to eat again. And I eat either, I probably don't eat chicken there, but I'll eat like maybe half a cup of cottage cheese, which is amazing protein, amazing. also really good late at night if you need a snack, because it has melatonin in it, and it I'm not saying it helps you sleep, but it does not interfere with your sleep. So I eat cottage cheese, and then probably some sort of a starch, not usually a sweet potato there, but some sort of a carbohydrate there. And then dinner is anything from chicken again to I have some staples I buy at Trader Joe's, like their branzino in the frozen food section is unbelievable. Shrimp is great. I eat beef probably once a week, lean beef. I mean, it's got to be like, the sirloin or a fillet or something very, very lean. And then and my treat to myself, or 3 times a day, I eat sugar-free popsicles. I swear to you, that's like my dessert, right? And that's that usually all of that tracks out to about, my goal is around 1150 calories. That's but
Yeah.
again, it's not really so much calories when you do the macros. The point of doing it is it has to be a balanced ratio of, they like to see, they being, coaching staffs, they like to see about 60% of your diet protein, and then another probably 40% carbohydrates and 20% fats. And I
Yeah.
didn't even touch upon fats, but I intake um, a good bit of avocados, which I never liked before. I mean, why? I have no idea, but now I love them. Now I have to watch how much I eat, because they're wonderful, but they're also have a lot of fat in them. And that's
Yeah.
that's like a daily, that's like my daily, and water. Water, 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 water. Can't get enough water in me. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's so interesting because most women, when they start working out, they're like, okay, you're tiny. But most adult women are, let's say 5'5", 5'6", and
Uh-huh.
around 150, 160. And it's like, they think they can eat around 1,000 calories and just do a ton of cardio. And that's their idea of fitness. And I think what bodybuilding teaches you and doing your macros teaches you is, it's like your body needs a balance of these things, and you need food to be able to grow muscle, and muscle burns fat all day long. So when you're doing that cardio session for an hour, yeah, you're burning it while you're there, but then what?
The biggest misnomer, one of them anyway, is the lifting of weights. And people, especially women, don't understand lifting weights burns so many more calories than cardio does. Cardio, I'm a proponent of it. I think we need it for heart health. I think it's very important. I would never tell somebody not to do it, but if you truly are gonna live the bodybuilding life, you likely are probably not doing too much cardio. Once in a while I'll get on the, a treadmill and walk a little bit. I walk outside, but I'm not like, oh my God, I got to get 10,000 steps. I'm averaging about 5,500 steps outside. It's not a ton, but it's just enough to get the blood rolling, and to kind of hopefully um, complement the lifting part of it, because it's the lifting part. And I used to say years ago, it was a trainer of mine who said to me, well before electric vehicles, um, can your car run without gasoline in it? And I said, no, obviously. And they were like, what do you think your body is? It's the same thing. You need fuel. Fuel. You have to have fuel in your system. Now, that being said, guys, I work out on a fast. I don't know if you do. I don't I
I
don't
do.
eat. I'm a coffee drinker in the morning, and then I go to the gym, and I don't eat breakfast until about 8:30, which is, at least it's within an hour of working out, because that's usually what they tell you. Closer to 30 is always better. So yeah,
Yeah.
I can't work out full at all.
I have been taking creatine and aminos in the mornings before I work out. So
Are you?
I
Do you
take
like
those.
it?
Um,
Do you like the
I do.
creatine?
I do. Yeah, I do. I chug it right before I leave. And I do feel like I have And it doesn't break a fast. The kind I have doesn't, the aminos don't break a fast. So you're still fasted in a fasted state, but you're giving your body at least the amino acids that your muscles will need. So I do find that I can perform better lifting. I can lift heavier weights. My stamina is better when I
Yeah.
take it versus when I don't.
So you put it into
Yeah.
your water?
Just what? Yeah, just chug it with water. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I tried it, I don't know, maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. And whatever I had was like so salty and I felt bloated. I felt so bloated. Was
Yeah, I
that
have a flavorless one, so I don't. It doesn't
okay?
have any flavor, so
Okay. I keep thinking
yeah.
because
But
that's all I
creatine
keep
can
reading
make you
about.
feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, creatine can make you feel a little bloaty, depending on what dosage you're taking, for sure.
Right.
But there's a
Right.
lot of studies coming out about, not only the things that you mentioned for weightlifting, but also bone density. Women, we lose bone health past menopause at such a rapid clip that lifting weights and keeping your muscles intact are so protective to your bones and
Yeah.
sarcopenia. So you don't get the
It's
brittle bones. You don't have that issue where they could talk about it being the shrinking elderly woman, right? Because literally you do. You're starting to round and shrink and so it's because of your soft bones. And so the more you lift weights, the more protective you are of that condition. And that's how women fall and break a hip and need a hip replacement. And some people just in their 60s and 70s just don't come back from those injuries as women. And we're twice as likely to have those injuries than men. So a lot of studies are coming out to support that weightlifting is really, as you age, a non-negotiable.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Can you talk a little bit about progressive overload and lifting heavier? I think that's something that scares a lot of women. And there's the
Getting
whole, I kind
bulky.
of want to get bulky, which don't even get me started. But I think you touched on this earlier, and it's so important. I think it's not just enough to go in and lift weights. It's like you have to lift heavier. And when do you know to bump up the weights? When do you know, like, hey, this is impacting my form, I should go down in weights? Can you talk a little about that?
Yeah, and this is not something that I, knew 10 years ago. I really didn't. But because I told you that I was a creature of habit, and if today was back and biceps day, it would be okay. The 4 back exercises, the 4 or 5 bicep exercises. It was the same thing over and over and over. And the more I read about, and I used to do 15 reps, right? And the more I kept reading, and the older I got, and I would start listening to people who had been in the field for years would say, 15 reps. You need to see how you feel after 10 to 12 reps. And if you're getting through it, then you need to bump it up. And you do that until you bump that weight up until you are hardly getting through 6 to 8. I mean, is what it amounts to. And you're right. It has to be controlled. It's not it's not, the form cannot be sacrificed for the heavier weight, because then and then you're setting yourself up for injury for sure. But I
Right.
certainly have been doing the progressive overload honestly, for about 6 or 7 months now. Because even when I worked with the trainer before my first and second competition, I don't really remember her like bumping it up, or she'd say to me, if we would do like some sort of a back exercise, she'd say, you go to 30 or you go to 35. And I'd say, yeah, I'm going to 35. Well, then let's try 40, type of thing. And you don't know till you try. And I'm not,
Right.
there are days that my muscles feel much more, I'm sure you guys can relate, much more pumped than other days for whatever reason. Could be what I ate the day before. And some days I look in the mirror and I say, because I'm in the bikini division. Honestly, I've had a lot of coaches say to me, you really should be doing physique because your body builds muscle. you really are able to build muscle where a lot of people can't. And I'm like, no. I want to stay bikini because I feel lean then. I feel, not that they don't feel lean, they do, but it's a different kind of a feeling. And so I can tell you just from me who lifts heavy. I mean, I really do. Certain things I don't lift heavy. Like I can't do anything over my head because I have not great shoulders. So you'll never see me doing anything overhead. But the rest of it, especially the legs, you really have to push. You have to push the envelope, not to the point again of risking an injury, but to where it's hard to do. It's really tough to get through 4 or 5, and then you know that you're working.
I think people just get stuck and they're like, well, I have to do 12 to 15 reps because I have to, burn calories and I have to lean out. And it's a very interesting thing that we are taught that that's what does it, when really, if you're doing 6 to 8 reps at max, you should be dead ass tired in between sets, dead ass.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah. And I, everybody probably listening to us, and I'm sure that all of the science on working out and physical education was done on men. It wasn't done on women. We were just labeled as small men, when really we have so many hormone fluctuations in our body on a monthly cycle every single week. Literally every day could be different in the gym for women. And knowing where you are at, if you're still cycling, and how that impacts your ability to lift, and protecting yourself is important. And you don't do the same workout at every phase of your cycle. You just don't, as women. And that's a new thing. I would say most women don't understand that yet. It's starting to become more prevalent on social media, which I'm grateful for. But if you listen to people who are still cycling, I don't cycle anymore, but Amanda does. She'll be like, oh, I'm tired today, or I feel like I'm weak today. But where are you at in your cycle, right? And it normally tracks with where she's at in her cycle as to what she's experiencing in the gym. And just not pushing yourself during those times. Yeah, listening to yourself is important. So
yeah, I mean, things as simple as days off, which I don't do. I mean, I'll be the first to admit it. It's terrible. It's horrible. I know it is, but I just can't. And even
Cathy.
even the trainers like, Kat, go do yoga one day. I'm like, I just don't. That's just not me. It's just not me. The only other thing I do outside of the
Pilates, though, right?
I do Legree. Legree is Pilates on steroids. Let's put it that way. It's a really intense 45-minute, yes, and that's a workout. That's fine. But the problem with that is it's expensive. It's like it's very expensive, and it's a treat when I'm able to go do a Legree session. But it's good. But all those other mediums are great. Yoga's great. Pilates is great. My husband's done Pilates for over 10 years. I mean, it's just, you have to do something. I don't care what it is. Start by just walking.
Yeah.
Just walk. Get out. Get your heart rate up a little bit. I hasten the day that I'm going to have an injury and I'm going to be handcuffed. And that's like my biggest worry. I mean, to be honest, that really is. Well, Amanda, you can relate. You had a knee issue, right? And I mean, it's depressing.
Yeah, hung me out for a whole week.
Exactly.
I was unbearable.
I get it.
She was sad about it. She was angry, actually.
I think I might have shared this with you a while ago, but I tore my, I'm not going to say I fully tore. It wasn't fully torn, but my right hamstring 7 weeks before my first competition. I got on the leg curl machine. I got on our leg curl machine at the gym and not warmed up, and and I mean, there was such an FU that you could hear it probably over at Mark's. That's how loud I was like, oh no. I knew I was in trouble. And I went through dry needling, cupping, acu. I mean, I went through everything to get me upright and to be able to put those shoes on. And I got out there on stage, and the judges picked it up. They said to me afterwards, "What is going on with your right leg?" And I said, "Why?" And they said, "Your hamstring looks different than your left hamstring." It was very obvious, but you know, we're not
Like, well,
invincible.
turns out one's torn.
We're not invincible, you know. We're given one, but we are given one body, and it's up to us to take care of it. You know, I mean, it's just spare parts are really expensive, and it's probably not fun. You know, yeah. So yeah, you really have to take
What
care.
made you start VIBRASTRONG? Was it
I don't know.
you started VIBRASTRONG, I saw on social media.
Yeah. So look, I'll be honest, real estate's quiet. It's slow. I am type A, in case you didn't know. And I love the world of health and fitness and well-being and all that kind of stuff, that I thought, you know, it's kind of natural. This is sort of a natural. And I even thought for a hot second I might want to just get my training license. And then I thought, I don't know that I really want to do that, but I just started thinking about the way of the world, and how we're all looking for a little bit of peace and a little bit of happiness and security and all those other wonderful, you know, Pollyannish kind of things. And I thought, you know, sometimes if you hone into just a topic, like today was just consistency. Today was just, you can't, not to conflict consistency with obsession, which is tough to do, because not all obsessions are bad. But consistency is the key. And if you know, the proverbial, if you fall off the horse, you just got to get back up there. You had a bad day eating, you had a bad night drinking. Yeah, it's not fun, but you can correct. You can course correct. That was really the impetus for VIBRASTRONG. I don't know, things come into my head, and I feel like, no, this might be interesting for some people, not for others, not, but that's okay, because we're not a one size fits all. And I always say that's why Baskin and Robbins has 31 flavors. So we have choices.
That's right.
And life is choices.
That's right. That's right. And this is Cathy, this is a vlog platform where you're video blogging.
Uh-huh. Oh, no. Okay. I'm not that advanced. I just post. I mean, I need somebody to show me how to actually blog, because I'm like you guys, you know, this is kind of really cool. Really cool.
We'll teach you.
Yeah.
We'll get you on the YouTube and everything,
That's
Cathy.
right. That's
there
right.
We go.
Have your own channel.
I was really, you're all over the place. It's really it's inspiring. Very inspiring.
Well, you literally inspire us like every single day, like from day one. Like you're just like such a presence in the gym. And you know, it's hard when you are fighting against the norms of what people consider is acceptable for women in the gym. And when you are helping people break their thought patterns and their thinking around, like, I just want to be skinny. I just want to be skinny. It's hard because people don't want to believe you. Like, I know I'm not shredded out here, but I believe truly that this is the way that we age the best. And this is the way that we are as active and as vibrant for as long as we can be. And it's just hard when all the messaging around you is just be so thin. And it's about strength. Yeah. And you are such a good example of that to us every day, of just like the strength and being by the weights and, you know, lifting those dumbbells. So I'm like, hell yeah, Cathy.
Well, plus I want to point out to you that you're also half the size that you used to be. And, you know, when I watch men go over and pick up 30-pound weights to do the same exercise that you pick up 40-pound weights to do, you know, you're not giving yourself nearly enough credit in that statement. Oh. You're not there to be thin, but you are changing your body on the daily basis. Yeah. Cathy, you too, and me too, right? And so
Right.
if it's, even when we are our worst critic and we don't notice it, those around us are noticing it. And even the women that we don't speak to because they're on a mission and they're doing their thing every single day,
Right.
we watch them transform when they're there every day and they're putting in the consistent work, and they're silently just doing the work. And whether they don't have to be thin, but that doesn't mean that we're not clapping behind them all going, man, girl, you're getting it. You're doing it. You're making the changes to your body. You are getting stronger. I'm watching you do it. And I think more of us women just championing each other and saying those words to each other and words of encouragement. And Cathy, that's what we said in our intro before you jumped on, is that we've both heard you in the locker rooms having conversations with women and just really encouraging them and listening to their stories and pumping them up and being a positive source, even in that space, even though you say you keep your head down. I think you do that when you come out of the locker room, but we've both heard you in the locker room having conversations with other women. And that's really what we need to keep doing as a group of women together, showing up at the gym every day.
Yeah. The empowerment for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. The new business, what kind of services are you offering? Services to other women, other people?
I really don't even, would I love to train somebody? Yeah, I'd love to. I just have never been approached. And I'm not really, even things like meal plans. I've often thought about maybe just putting it out there if anybody's interested in meal plans, for me to develop a meal plan as a business, not as we all have a lot of other stuff to do. I do not a lot, but I try to give my time to volunteering and then I have to make a living. I'm a realtor. So I would like to have zero amount of time to do any of the other stuff. But the reality is that you just have to make the best use of your time, and then things happen.
Yeah.
Do happen for sure. So
your platform is about positivity and being positive about women.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Perfect. I think that's great. Yeah. Yeah.
But I just want to make sure people know where they can find that content, because it is inspiring. I know I've shared it on Facebook. Do you also just have like a blog website that they could go to as well?
Yeah, it's just VIBRASTRONG.com. Pretty simple. And then honestly,
we'll link that in the show notes.
I just post, as I write, I just post. And then, Sweet. But I also share it to Facebook too, because they're just people who don't want to take that extra step and go to the website and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Time, everybody's busy. So never too busy to take care of yourself.
Cathy, thank you so much for being an inspiration to everyone. And we wish you the best of luck on your next competition coming up.
Yeah. When is that? What do you do? Tell us the deets about that.
It's May 30th. It's Memorial Day weekend. A lot of people always make plans. They go to the lake or they go to whatever. So unfortunately, I miss a lot of people coming, but it's here at Ohio State at the Fawcett Center. And it's a great venue, actually.
Nice.
I wish all of them were as good as this one. I am attempting to get my pro card as an IFBB participant. I'd be the oldest in the history of bodybuilding. I won't get it, but I'm trying to stay positive. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. We're sending you all the positivity towards that for sure.
Thank you. Thank you much. This has been a delight.
Fantastic.
Thanks, ladies.
Well, we appreciate coming on.
Of course.
And we will link all the places you can find Cathy. At the very least, pop into a Planet Fitness. You might be lucky. But you can find this episode on YouTube. We will be on Spotify, iHeart, Apple Podcasts, and on Patreon.
And if there's anybody that you think would be inspired by this, please share. We appreciate it. Thanks, Cathy.
Absolutely. All right, ladies. Have a good day.
Love you guys.
Thanks,
See you in the morning.
You too. Bye.